Update. Would I be the a-hole for not having my cancer-stricken ex-husband stay with me through his treatment? Original post. For most of our marriage, my ex-husband 39 male and I 37 female had a very happy relationship. We had good jobs, decent money, 2 kids, and loved each other. Then he got diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and we went through years of painful treatments and recovery together. We moved to a small house to be close to the research center where he underwent treatment. His parents paid half of the down payment on the house. The other half was from our savings and investments. In the divorce, he gave me the house and took all of his medical debt. We have been divorced a year, but now his cancer has come back, and he needs treatment again at the same research hospital. He wants to stay in what is now my house while undergoing treatment, and his parents expected me to house him and look after him because he was generous in letting me have the house without taking his rightful share from the equity. When we were married and he was undergoing treatment, it was new stuff that was expensive and also very physically draining on him. We were lucky that both our jobs were supportive and flexible, but with his health issues, little kids, and expenses, we had to downgrade our lifestyle a lot. That, plus the physical changes in his body, made him very depressed, and whenever he felt a bit better, he'd go stay in his hometown. It's a small town where most of his family and a lot of his childhood friends live. I was doing all the caretaking of him, while also dealing with the insurance complications. I was also managing the kids, the entire household, and my full-time job. We had help from friends and neighbors, but it was very hard. I wasn't happy about him spending his healthy days away from us, but thinking it was good for his mental health, I didn't feel like I could object. While he was staying there, he had reconnected with his high school girlfriend, and a couple years ago, he admitted to me that he was sleeping with her, and I filed for divorce. He had fully recovered from his cancer by then. There are other aspects around the cheating that left me very heartbroken and feeling betrayed, and him giving me the house and taking all the debt was an apology of a sort. But now his parents feel that I owe him for getting the house and should let him stay there for the 2 to 3 months his treatment is at the facility. I do want him to be well, and I don't want my kids to lose a loving father, but I can't deal with having him around me, especially not if I end up being his nurse and caretaker again, as I am still very bitter about how our marriage ended. However, a lot of people close to me are telling me that I should support him for the sake of my kids. Would I be the a-hole if I say I can't do that? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Let his girlfriend take care of him. Fiancé. They announced their engagement the day the divorce was finalized. That still hurts so much. It's hard to feel sorry for someone who is selfish even though it's cancer. A sick a-hole is still an a-hole. OP is definitely not the a-hole. The side piece can carry the burden of caring for him. The in-laws can take a running jump. Not the a-hole. Even without the cheating and whatnot, caretaking is a full-time job. It is very taxing emotionally, mentally, and physically. You're not his wife anymore. You have no obligation to do this. The last time I did it out of love, I can just not do it now. It was very difficult. The big upside to me in getting divorced was not having to deal with that anymore. As difficult as it is to take care of a sick person, dealing with the insurance bureaucracy and keeping track of all the medical contacts and treatment details is a pretty big logistical nightmare. Why isn't her infectious laugh curing things now? I'd ask his parents if they expect you to let him and his new wife live at your place. We divorced. There's a new woman who is supposed to be taking on the nurse and a purse role that I happily relinquished. Not a-hole. And for anyone saying you owe him, you paid your debt in full by taking care of him, and then by not raking him over the coals in the divorce when he cheated. You owe him nothing. Now for the update. The Sunday after I made a post to AITA, my ex-in-laws picked up the kids for a zoo trip. They sometimes come to pick them up to entertain them, and so I thought nothing of it. A few hours later, a very teary-eyed and contrite mother-in-law dropped off 2 bawling kids with me. She told them their dad is sick and will die if he doesn't stay with us and go to the hospital. We hadn't had a talk with the kids yet about the diagnosis, and she dropped it on them that he is dying from cancer. He is not dying. It's a painful treatment, but he'll recover. I was so furious I was raging. I called the ex and tore him a new one. He was shocked too, and we together exploded at his mom. She broke down and cried, begging me to not take away her grandkids from her, as if I'd trust her after this. X and I together talked to the kids with him on video and assured them that yes, he is sick, but he'll be fine. That he just needs to go to the hospital and they'll make him better like the last time he was sick. The kids settled after that, But my oldest has been at me crying and begging to make dad come live with us. I promised them I'd talk to their dad and figure out what's the best thing to do. I swallowed a lot of bile to talk to him about why he was doing this. We had a pretty long and detailed discussion. The bottom line is that he's broke. He still has a decent job, but his credit is ruined. He has a lot of debt, and he stupidly got the cheapest insurance that barely covers anything. Fiancé is no help either, as she's worse off financially. So he needs a place to stay as he can't afford this otherwise. His parents are funding some of his medical payments and are already stretched. He was financially all right when we broke up, so I have no idea what happened in such a short time. Anyway, X and his girlfriend moved into my daughter's room. My daughter happily gave it up to her dad and is sharing her little brother's room. Both kids are over the moon happy to have their dad in their home. My daughter keeps checking on him every few minutes to make sure he's still okay. Mother-in-law traumatized my kid, and I'll never forgive that woman for this. I let the girlfriend move in with him because I was too angry to care about who came to look after him as long as it wasn't me. I didn't know how I could bear having her in my home, but it appears to be more misery for her than me, and that strangely makes it more tolerable for me. She's teary-eyed and crying all the time. It's only been 3 days, but I am so annoyed I want to shake her and tell her to pull it together. The current treatment plan is for 3 months and I am counting down the days. I am thankful for the many people who gave me great advice in my last post. I wasn't expecting things to go this way, but they played me by manipulating my kids. I'll slowly pull myself and the kids away and move, but for now, I have to deal with this for my kids' sake. Update 2. I was trying to make this update more than a week ago. So to add to that, X's treatment is coming along nicely. The tumors that grew again are much smaller than before, and the new stuff that they're giving him is more directed to so he's not having as many bad symptoms as he had last time. I had promised myself I would do nothing to help, and I stayed away from both X and his fiancée. But I did end up helping him deal with insurance. His fiancée has the personality of a wet noodle and cries all the time, and it was easier for me to do it than deal with her struggling. X is polite enough to me, but his personality has changed. He's a different person and not very nice towards his fiancée. I didn't expect to, but I feel sorry for her. Oh no, I am so sorry you're in this situation. He isn't very nice to her because the honeymoon period is over. Life got real with his sickness, and he's comparing his life that was comfortable, with a loving wife who was his rock, his loving children and medical insurance, versus having to beg your ex-wife to house you and your broke girlfriend. His life sucks now, and he blames the girlfriend rather than his actions. You are in this situation now, but please, 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 take advantage to show him what he lost. Not to get him back, you can definitely do better, but my petty side wants out because of the situation you have been forced into. Petty recommendations that won't hurt your kids. 1. Cook his absolute favorite, most delicious smelling dinner. Don't cook them any. 2. If his birthday or Father's Day whilst he's with you, go to town to get the kids to celebrate him. His favorite thing, everything from the time he was living with you. Then give him your most special home-cooked meal or baked goods for dinner. The kids enjoy spoiling their dad, and he gets a reminder of what he lost. 3. Ask if the girlfriend can look after the kids for day your ex doesn't have treatment. Then go out on a date looking $1,000,000. If you don't date, they don't need to know that. Just go out with girlfriends. If you do date, don't come home that night. 4. Keep the house perfect. Warm, welcoming, smelling great. Maybe decorate a room or two whilst he is there. Remind him of the home he left. 5. If you can afford a holiday with the kids, leave some printouts of holiday info you plan to book in the communal areas. Plan a fun family holiday that he isn't invited to anymore. 6. If he looks unwell, just keep asking him if you would like me to get girlfriend for you. You look like you could use some help. Let me get girlfriend to help you. Don't think the level of care he got from you will compare to the care crying girlfriend provides. And overall, remain classy, which frankly I think is your standard behavior mode. When your kids work out he cheated and hurt you, because as they get older, the time frame of the relationship will naturally raise questions. They will remember that you took him and his affair partner in when he was sick, and you did so for them. Just please do not under any circumstances care for him. If he is really bad, take the kids and go stay at your family house. Don't let him drag you back into the darkest years of your life. I've done number 3 2 times already. I haven't dated yet since the divorce. I want to, but online dating scares me and my social life involves around my kids. I am pretending to have plans, just so I am dressed and out and feel good about myself. I didn't leave the kids with them though. I managed to arrange a sleepover for kids with their friends on those nights. I have been amazed by how much love and support my kids and I are receiving from our neighbors and friends. I told a few close people what's going on, and I suppose most people now know. I have received a lot of offers to help. People can be kind. We got invited to a camping trip on Easter weekend and I'm taking kids to that. Ex-mother-in-law was making noises about having the kids over, but I've shut that down. I would never trust ex-mother-in-law with the kids ever. Like never again. And I have a hard talk with the kids about manipulation, because that is exactly what she did. Weaponized the kids and their love for their dad to get what she wanted. Yes, my blood still boils about that. I never talk bad about ex to kids, but I talk to them about what their grandmother did was wrong, and they understand that to some extent. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law I don't need her parenting advice, as she clearly doesn't know what she's doing? I, 36 female, have a beautiful baby boy, 10 months old, who was christened last Saturday. My twin-oldest wife, 41 female, flew in for the christening with my nieces, 7 and 5 female. They live in another state, and I paid for their flights because they live with a modest income and she is a stay-at-home mom. The day of the christening when they arrived, my son was crying, and we tried his usual self-soothing techniques, but he wouldn't stop. My sister-in-law said we should just give him his pacifier. I told her we don't use pacifiers and he's never tried one. Over the next few days, it was a similar rodeo. Baby cry and we would use self-soothing techniques, and sister-in-law would mention how pacifiers would soothe him. Well, after the christening, upon her suggestion once again to give my crying son a pacifier, I snapped. And in a room full of friends and family, I said, I would never take parenting advice from a 41-year-old woman that still lives on her parents' property, cannot hold down a job so she's a stay-at-home mom, that my retired parents have to send money every month to help them make ends meet, and whose 5-year-old still uses a pacifier to soothe herself and proudly shows them off. A 5-year-old whose mouth is so jagged and ruined that she and my brother will probably have to ask me and my husband for money for orthodontics care because they can't afford it. That she's a prime example of what not to do in raising kids. Well, obviously the room was silent, and she ran off crying and she and my brother left. They only came back that evening, but neither she nor my brother said anything to me, and they left the next day to the airport. My brother said I have to apologize, and it was unfair for me to throw their finances in their faces. While I apologized for that, said I would not apologize for telling her the fact about my niece's situation. And I told him that on multiple occasions both I and my husband, a pediatrician, have warned them about the negative effects of a pacifier on a child. My brother told me to mind my own business, and I said I gladly would, as long as his wife minded hers. Now my parents are telling me to apologize again. Naturally, my friends are on my side. So, Internet, am I the a-hole? Edit. 1. To those saying I'm a bad parent because my son is constantly crying, he's teething. And we have various self-soothing techniques we use, including self-soothing music, his Sophie, his soothing support Stuffy, etc. 2. On multiple occasions, my husband did tell my brother and sister-in-law about the negative effects of pacifiers on a 5-year-old because they ask, because they are concerned. He's a pediatrician. They just failed to implement this medical advice. 3. I do not have a temper. I was very stressed. However, I will be reaching out to sister-in-law in a few days to speak with her directly and apologize for my hurtful outburst. 4. The comments about the finances. Yes, I am upset because my brother is upset about their finances and wants her to get a job to help burden the load. His words. He is in grad school after a layoff to get a better opportunity for his family, and he wishes she would help. She stopped working 6 months into her first pregnancy and never went back. Now for the comments. You could have said, thank you for your suggestion, but we choose not to use pacifiers. And I expect you to respect our parenting choices even if you make other choices. Instead, you dropped a nuclear bomb, destroying this woman's entire life. You're the a-hole. Frankly, no apology is ever going to repair that kind of contemptuous string of insults. If you intended to sever that relationship, mission accomplished. OP, you used a nuclear bomb to kill a fly. You're the a-hole. Yeah. Giant, you're the a-hole. Holy smokes, you went nuclear. There was a better way to handle that undoubtedly. I googled all the pacifier stuff, and I get your concerns. But yeah, still doesn't excuse your outburst. Wow. I know. I was just so stressed with the christening, and her comments were just so annoying and constant. I snapped and I did go nuclear. I feel a bit bad for embarrassing her and myself. Just a bit? I just reread what you said to her. And man, wow. I can't believe you said all that. That was so out of bounds in every way. I don't know what you can do to ever repair that relationship. An apology isn't going to fix this. If I was her, I'd never speak to you again. And frankly, I wish you did. I want to see your side here, but geez. You're the a-hole. Everyone has their own parenting styles. Theirs might not be for you, but you went in so hard and so deep. Almost as if this isn't about a pacifier at all. It's not. I'm annoyed she doesn't get a job and help my brother contribute to the household. It's unfair for my retired parents and me on occasion to have to send them money when she refuses to work and then gives me parenting suggestions? Yeah, no. So in other words, you just don't like her. There are many stay-at-home parents who contribute in other ways than monetarily, and parents that are in poverty. That doesn't make them bad parents. You're the a-hole majorly. I do like her, but I don't like her expensive taste, like Montessori and private school that she and my brother can't afford, but she insists on, and we have to fund it. My parents, hers, etc. This isn't about poverty. It's about being too lazy to contribute to wanting things for your kids that you can't afford, and not working and expecting money to be given to you when you ask. Stop funding their lifestyle. It makes you the problem for enabling their behavior. I don't give my kids pacifiers either, and I raise 4. I believe they get addicted and it's hard to get them off, and it can be detrimental to the teeth. But you definitely went too far because you have been enabling her behavior as well.